Yes, we can start now. So there are no special invitees, so you can come to the control. Uh, okay, now the topic given to me is road-related infrastructure. But today I am going to talk about the entire land transport sector, not only roads, railways, etc. So I think now, although my lecture is only focusing on your paper B, engineering society, is useful for you in your actually general knowledge, because as an engineer you must know what is happening around you. Basically, after passing out, after graduation, either you work in the academic field or in the industry. Academic field, university or technical college as lecturer, and in the industry, either you will work for the government or semi-government organization, that is called the statutory bodies like authorities, boards, etc., corporations, etc., or you will be in the private sector as employer or employee, because you will run your own business. Even in that case, actually, you must know what are the projects happening around you. So you have to have some general knowledge about the government structure, how government works. Now, in our country, after the Provincial Council came into existence in 1970s, now we have system of three-tier government structure. You have the central government. Under the central government, there are ministries. So I think every minister in charge of the ministry, and there will be a secretary within the ministry as a top official. And under the ministry, there will be government departments and boards and corporations. Those are called semi-government organizations. And under the provincial councils, now we have 9 provincial councils. And the lowest tier is called the local government. So we have local bodies, municipal councils. Those are for larger towns like Colombo, Candy, Gold, and urban councils, and more rural level local government organizations called Pradesh Sabha. Now, in our constitution, there is a schedule called 9th schedule in the 13th amendment. 13th amendment to the constitution, there is a 9th schedule. So there, in the 9th schedule, that clearly stated duties for the central government as well as the provincial government. So this, when you take the transport, subject of transport, the transport is falling in both lists. The provincial council list as well as the reserved list is for the central government. So in the reserved list, following subjects and functions are with the central government. All ports and harbours are with the central government. And the aviation and the subject of aviation and the airports also under central government. And national transport. So what is national transport? All railways coming under the national government. Because it is a network. You cannot run railway from the provinces because we are a small country. There are countries actually railways coming under the provinces. But those are very large countries, but our country is smaller and it is not economically viable for the provinces to run railways. So entire railway network is with the central government, and the highways declared by the law made by the parliament. So there are certain category of roads, they are coming under the central government, and certain categories are coming under the provincial council. Because you know there are roads called A and B roads. Those are under the central government. So RBA, Road Development Authority, manage those roads, A and B roads, and the expressways. And the carriage of passengers and goods by the railway, land, sea or air, or by national waterways, by mechanically propelled vessels. Those are also coming under the central government. So those are called national transport. So then the transport sector agencies under the central government. So we have the Ministry of Transport. So now it is Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation. So there are agencies like Railway Department, Sri Lanka Railway, and Sri Lanka Transport Board, popularly known as CTB, and the Department of Motor Traffic, National Transport Commission, National Transport Medical Institute, Civil Aviation Authority, and Airport and Aviation Company Limited. Those are coming under the Ministry of Transport. And Sri Lankan Airline is not coming under the Ministry of Transport at present. Earlier it was under the Ministry of Transport. Sorry, Ministry of Aviation. And another important ministry is Ministry of Road Development. So now there is no higher education, it is Ministry of Road Development. So RBA is the main agency under the Ministry of Road Development. And Ministry of Port and Shipping, so Sri Lanka Port Authority is coming under the Ministry of Port and Shipping. So in addition, there is a newly created ministry called Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development. So there are agencies like Urban Development Authority, Megapolis Project, Sri Lanka Land Reclamation and Development Corporation. So those are the major agencies under the Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development. So I'll describe the role of these agencies, especially the Railway Department. You know, they are the organization in charge of operation of railways in Sri Lanka. So they do the permanent way construction, and they develop the signaling system and station development, and finally they manage and operate the system. And Sri Lanka Transport Board is popularly known as CTB. CTB on about 5,000 buses in their fleet. So they operate throughout the island. There are 106 depots in various parts of the country. So they are a centralized organization now. And you know, in the public transport, the buses play a vital role in the public transport. But when you take the bus fleet owned by the CTB, CTB owns only 5,000 buses. So private sector owns about 20,000 buses. So CTB is only 20% stake in the bus transport. The majority is owned by the private sector. And Department of Motor Traffic, so they prepare the regulations for motor traffic management. So they are the authority for issuing driving licenses and vehicle registration, etc. And National Transport Commission is there to regulate the privately owned buses. So there are interprovincial buses operating. So those buses are regulated by the National Transport Commission. So there are buses operating within the province. So that is a subject for the provincial council. So each and every provincial council has an organization to manage private buses within their area of authority. And National Transport Medical Institute is a supporting agency to Department of Motor Traffic, because if you want to get a license, then you have to get a medical test done. So that purpose, the National Transport Medical Institute was established. And the Civil Aviation Authority is the regulatory body to regulate aviation industry. And Airport and Aviation Company, so they are in charge of development and management of airports. So at present, there are three airports under the Airport and Aviation Company Limited, that is Ratnayaka BIA, Bandaranaike International Airport, and Ratmalana Airport. And recently, they have taken over Batticaloa Airport after development. And there are about more than 10 to 12 regional airports in Sri Lanka, and most of those airports are presently managed by Air Force, and they are used for military purposes. And only Batticaloa was taken over recently for the civil aviation. So similarly, there are plans to develop other regional airports for civilian operations. And Ministry of Port Development, the RDA. So RDA is the authority for development and maintenance of A and B class ports in addition to the expressway. So by way of gazette notification, they can take over any important roads under AB category, and they can take over those major arterial roads for development and maintenance. In addition, other roads, CD roads, are handled by provincial council, and there are certain roads managed by the local authorities. Those are called Mavatas in the smaller local authorities. But in Colombo Municipal Council, even major roads coming under the RDA, although it is under the RDA, within the Colombo municipal limits, they maintain even A and B class roads because they have the capacity to do it. And SLPA is the major agency under the Ministry of Port and Shipping. So there are major ports in Colombo and now at Hambantota, Galle, Trincomalee, etc. They are under the control of the SLPA. And there are smaller ports in KKS and Oluville and some other places. So then the Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development is a recently created ministry, especially came into existence in 2015. So there are important agencies like UDA, so they are in charge of the urban planning and Megapolis project also created to develop the Colombo megapolis area. So they have already prepared a plan incorporating the transport plan for the western region. And SLRDC is the agency responsible for creation of urban land by filling low-lying areas. And they are also a regulatory body, and they have a dual role. They have a development role as well as a regulatory role. So they are going to fill low-lying area. You have to get the approval of the low-lying area Sri Lanka Land Reclamation and Development Corporation. But there are other approvals also. We have to do a EIA, environment approval, as well as the approval from the organization like Agrarian Services Department. Then I will go into this urban transport and policies and plans. So earlier in around 2014, the Ministry of Transport had a project technical assistant from JICA So under the technical assistance from JICA, they prepared a master plan for urban transport system development for Colombo. And under the same technical assistance, the feasibility study was done to establish a monorail system for Colombo. That was also completed now. And this JICA plan was again reviewed by University of Morocco in 2015. And there was a study done for the bus rapid transit system also for some corridors, some congested corridors by the University of Morocco. And then came the megapolis transport plan. So they amalgamated all these proposals. Actually, plan prepared, they have taken into consideration plan prepared by JICA and the proposals by the University of Morocco, and also taken into consideration this feasibility done for this monorail and bus rapid transit, and they prepare a megapolis transport plan within the integrated master plan. So in the megapolis transport plan, so they have identified some high priority projects for implementation. So one is actually management of traffic management aspects actually, especially introduction of the flexible and staggering working hours. Because at present, the school traffic and the officers, actually the starting and ending time, there are, so they would have some gap. And especially then you can reduce the traffic during the peak hours. And parking management, so creation of parking areas, especially when you are planning new buildings, you have to have in-house parking. So otherwise, you will not get the approval from the local authority if you don't have sufficient number of parking bays within your building. And even along the roadside, they are going to have some improvement in parking areas. And also improvement of intersections. So there are a lot of bottlenecks in the city roads. Certain areas you get very narrow roads, and certain intersections actually you don't have sufficient infrastructure. So they have recommended to improve those intersections, and with signal timing update. Here you can see actually certain intersections, when you get the green light to go, other intersection you get the red light. So actually we have to synchronize actually the signaling in closer actually intersections. So that is actually called this signal timing updates. Because otherwise you can see a lot of vehicles are getting blocked at the intersection. Then the restructuring of the public bus service, this is actually very difficult exercise. As I mentioned earlier, bus transport is majority is dedicated to province. So major part of if you take the numbers, there are 5,000 buses owned by CCP and another 20,000 owned by private sector. But most of these private sector buses, another 5,000 is operating interprovincial, and majority is operating within the province. But most of these buses are owned by single individuals. So there's a it's a very difficult task for the restructuring. Even rerouting is a difficult exercise because their unions are somewhat powerful, so they pressurize the government not to make any big changes. So, but definitely we'll have to do that change. And modernizing and improving the quality and the services of the buses. Actually, our buses are not really mechanically not suitable for passenger transport because those are actually to take actually undercarriage. It is more suitable for good transport because it's called that lorry chassis. But for buses, actually, you need to have some kind of a comfort, and for that you have to have a specially manufactured undercarriage. So we are proposing to modernize and improve the quality of the bus service, and also feasibility on bus rapid transit because Morato University carried out the feasibility on Gold Road corridor. Unfortunately, one section of the corridor, about 9 kilometers, we have only 2 lanes. So with 2 lanes, we cannot implement BRT. So we have to have a minimum of 3 lanes. So we have to do land acquisition and expand that 9 kilometers to have third lane. So then only the bus transit project will become feasible on Gold Road. So rapid transit for CBD, Colombo Business District. So there are proposals like light rail. Earlier that feasibility was done for monorail, but monorail there are so many limitations, capacity limitations as well as the technology is outdated because some countries they don't use monorail now. And in certain countries, actually, the monorail projects have become failures. So that is what actually then later, so there was a long discussion with JICA, and finally they also agreed with the Sri Lankan government to have another feasibility for light rail transit. And also, there should be multimodal transport hub because there should be integration between these different modes. Otherwise, people will not use public transport because we use car or motorbicycle or three-wheeler because that with that mode we can go door to door. But with the public transport, without proper integration, you cannot have that kind of a facility. And also there are proposals for railway electrification and modernization. So I will come to those certain projects in detail later. And also road improvement, road capacity improvement. So those are some of the short-term recommendations in the mega public transport plan. So this is all about this passenger transport modes, available modes, bus transport, rail transport. There are other modes like three-wheelers, private taxis, cars, vans, etc. So annual demand for the transport is around 80 billion passenger kilometers, and passenger transport is both undertaken by public and private buses mainly. So as I mentioned earlier, bus transport share is 61% of the country's total passenger transport. So buses carry around 61%. So there are 30,000 buses, and average number of private buses operated daily is 24,000, Average number of government-owned buses, that is the CTB buses, although it is 6,000, now presently we have only 5,000 buses in running condition. So our transport mainly road-based. So road transport, our freight transport is mainly happening on roads. 98% of the freight is transported by road, only 2% by other modes like railway. So this was the existing road network. So at present about 90% of the passengers and 98% of the freight are carried by the roads. So roads are playing major role in the transport. So there are about 115 kilometers in total, the road network, and they also divided into national, provincial, and rural and other roads in terms of the responsibility. And now we have 3 expressways in addition to the DNB transports. So these are the type of roads and kilometers. So we have fairly high road density in our country. So we have national highways. We have expressways about 161 kilometers, including Colombo Matara and part of outer circular up to Padavata, and then CKE Colombo Patnaka highway. And we have about 4,000 A-class roads and 7,000 or almost 8,000 C-class highways. And there are about 4,200 bridges on these A and B-class highways. So the Southern Expressway and CKE Patnaka Expressway is 25 kilometers, and the outer circular expressway is 21 kilometers. So those are the 3 expressways now in operation. But outer circular, I think Padavata to Vassala section is not yet ready. It's under construction. And the rail network. So we have about 1,450 kilometers of rail network. So entire rail network was built by the British, and we have 172 stations and about 161 substations. So the network covers the entire country. Now with the reconstruction of Northern Railway, about 250 kilometers after the conflict, so it's really covers the entire country except the southeast part of the country, that is that Sampara Mondagal area. The present railway system provides the suburban railway service from suburbs to the city center. So although railway share is passenger share, national share is around 5%, and railway, the suburban service, play a very important role during the peak hours, especially around Colombo. So there, during the peak hours, railway share is around 13%. So there is a strategic investment program prepared for 2016 to 2021 by the Railway Department to improve the customer service. Yeah, I think I'll have to explain a little bit about the railway also. Because this network was entirely done by the British. Actually, their main purpose is to transport plantation products to Colombo Harbour. but they were not focusing on the passenger transport. But today we are using railway entirely for the passenger transport, actually suburban service as well as the long distance service. But they are sharing the good transport, the freight transport is less than 1%. And now we have taken certain action to transport certain goods like cement, petroleum by the railway. But railway, they do not have sufficient number of locomotives and they don't have sufficient number of wagons and the tanks to transport these items and also containerized cargo. So we have only 10 container low-gauge trailers owned by the railway. So at present our share is less than 1%. But in other countries, the main income earner for railway is the freight transport, not the passenger transport. So they subsidize passenger transport and they earn profit from the freight transport. So when you compare the railway system in 1960s and today, actually the 1960s, the railway was called the golden era of railway during the Rampala period. So that time, majority we have steam locomotives and very few diesel locomotives, but we had more than 300 locomotives in this country. So we had 1965 we had a population of 12 million, but very little urban population and very little trips were generated and very few people use the railway. So even with that we had 300 locomotives. But today railway is having only 180 locomotives. Out of 180, only 100 locomotives are in good running condition. But those locomotives also more than 25 years old. And recently we have not procured locomotives or passenger transport in railway other than few, I think, diesel multiple units, actually so-called power sets. There are certain locomotives brought to Sri Lanka from India for the construction purposes, and they are also now running on the passenger main lines for the passenger transport. Then I go into the ongoing and planned major urban transport projects. So this Colombo Suburban Railway project, so this is also called railway electrification. So there were long discussions about this project, but there was no sufficient funding is available. And in 2015, we have had discussions with the Asian Development Bank, and they also realized by improving the roads, you cannot solve the transport problems in the main city. Because you know, when you see the traffic in Colombo, so after we implement this expressway, the traffic is coming very fast to the city, and finally within the city you get a lot huge congestion. So that is, I think, with the completion of the outer circular, the situation becomes worse. So you have to have some solution. So either it can be a elevated road, but you can't have elevated road all over the city, because when you elevate the road, you cannot have entrances and exits everywhere. So you have to promote public transport. So the road widening or elevated road is not a solution for the city traffic congestion. So the only solution is promotion of public transport. So the best mode is the railway, because better to develop the existing infrastructure. rather than developing a new system. Because even railway, with the network, available network, the government investment has gone down in the railway sector. That is what has happened. Maybe there is an increase in terms of rupees, but when you take the investment in terms of dollars, it has gone down. For railway, almost 90% of the inputs are imported. So you have to have huge amount to maintain the railroad. You will have to maintain the rail track, and you will have to develop and maintain the signaling system and communication system, and also stations and railway ticketing system. Because railway ticketing also very much outdated, and I think we are the only country using that kind of tickets. So I think it has become a very big problem for the railway for this ticketing tender, because there is no interested party. Only one party is doing this printing of this kind of tickets. So that also become a big problem. Now they have actually identified the railway ticketing as one of the priority projects under this ADB Assistant Railway Modernization Project. So the Colombo Suburban Railway Project, now the project cell is already established, and we have completed the feasibility study, and now the detailed design consultancy is given to the Korean firm called Doha is doing it now, and they will be completing their work. They will be completing their work by end of 2020. But you don't have to wait till 2020. That is the entire suburban network. They will be completing by 2020. But they have given priority. After the feasibility, they have given priority to develop Kalyan Valley railway line. Because that is a major railway line, very much under capacity. And once we develop that line, new transport corridor will open up towards the eastern side of Colombo. So that will create opportunity to expand the city. So in the feasibility, they found that you cannot expand the rail corridor because it is a highly congested area. So certain section has to be elevated to have the two tracks. So without having two tracks, you cannot have that capacity improvement. So there will be elevated railway line from Maradana to a place called Malapalla in Kottava area. So beyond Kottava, the track will be single track, and it will be rehabilitated, strengthened to run at high speed. So with the improvement, actually they are planning to run at 80 kilometers per hour. Because at present there are so many speed limitations, especially certain areas the railway speed is very much lower, at 20 kilometers per hour. So that is actually very important project. So in addition to Kalyan Valley, there will be third line added to the coastal line from Colombo Port to Panadura, and there will be four new lines from Maradana to Port. So at present, all technical movements also happening on the commercial line, because the railway yard is located in Maradana, Panchikavas area. So the locomotives and other passenger trains going back to yard also use the same line. So there is a big congestion between Maradan and port. So we'll be constructing 4 new lines for this technical movement, and the congestion will be removed. And there will be 4th line going up to Ragana. And 3rd line will be extended from Ragana to Vayamada. And similarly, the main line will be upgraded up to Kolgahavela to run at 100 kilometers. And also on the Nigambu line, Putlam line, the rail track will be developed up to Nigambu with rail facility extended up to the terminal building in Karnataka. So those are the scope of Colombo Suburban Railway project. So now the feasibility phase is over, and now it is the detailed design stage. So there, the detailed design consultant will prepare the detailed design drawings, bill of quantities, and the bidding document for tendering of the project. So few projects will be tendered this year. I think that includes a housing project for the relocation, because you have to relocate certain houses, commercial establishments, to take more land space for the railway construction. And after construction, it will be like protected highway. No one should be able to cross the railway. It will be fenced. Because we will be converting this to diesel locomotives to electrified locomotives. So we have a different kind of rolling stock, engines and the compartments, and railway line will be fenced, and it will be like expressways. So you can't have so many port crossings. So either you have to have underpasses or overpasses. So that is actually, you have to construct all these structures first, and then only you have to do the electrification at the last stage. So initially you have to start the land acquisition and construct parallel roads on either side of the railway. So you cannot have so many underpasses or overpasses. So there should be parallel roads, and in selected location you can have underpasses or overpasses to cross the railway line. So that is true, because you have to achieve the speed. So at present the railway is not attractive, because the railway, they don't have required speed and the frequency and the comfort to the passengers. So the passengers, they won't come to the railway. So with all these facilities, that more and more people will come to the railway. So we have to have park and ride facilities also at selected stations. So with that, the passengers, especially the car owning population, can come by their cars to the railway station, and they can park their cars there and then come to Colombo city for various purposes. And with the implementation of this project, there will be different kind of taxation, because there will be entrance fee. The private vehicle entering Colombo will have to pay a substantial amount as the entrance fee. That is to discourage privately owned vehicles coming into the city, because that kind of taxation is practiced in other Europe countries. So we have to have that kind of taxation to discourage people to use less and less private modes in the city. The other project is this rapid transit system for Colombo. So the railway when you take the city, we have only 4 rail corridors. So you cannot serve entire city with the railway alone. So you have to have another kind of rapid transit system to go with actually the conventional railway system. So that is what actually this light rail transit system was planned for Colombo. That is more longer term project. And now there are several lines actually. There is one from Malabe to Kolupitiya, via Borella. So initial feasibility has been done by JICA, and they will be funding that project also. And other lines, depending on the feasibility, those lines will be developed at a later stage on BOT basis. So that is the present arrangement for the light rail transit. And the construction of multimodal transport hub. At present, we know smaller hub is developed at Kottara because it is one important park and ride hub in the region, Colombo region, because it is a terminal point for the Southern Expressway, and there will be facilities for park and ride there, and with that actually there will be a multimodal transport hub. At present, smaller multimodal hub is developed there. So with the development of traffic, there will be huge multimodal hub developed at Kottara. So in addition, the major one will be planned in between Maradan and Port Station, integrating the bus passengers, bus services, and private transport services, conventional railway, as well as the LRT. And there is another project ADB has given their green light to go ahead, that is the elevated port access road. I think you must have noticed that across Karani River, there's a new bridge is under construction. So that elevated road will be connected to this Karani new bridge at Oduguruvatta. So there will be, they are going to segregate this heavy traffic, especially the container traffic, because at the moment there are certain, earlier we implement certain restrictions for those heavy traffic. So that is also not very practical because it finally affects the port operation, because within the port also we have capacity problems. Because at the moment we are handling nearly more than 2.5 million container units. So it's the port also very much congested. So they have to, I think, work round the clock. So due to that, actually, there is a separate elevated port access road also planned. And the new Kalani Bridge. So this is actually the aerial view of the present Kalani Bridge and the proposed structure. So now you must have seen certain columns are coming up now. So that is also, the construction is funded by the Asian Development Bank. And there is another proposal from Kottara via Rajagiriya to elevated expressway. That is also under visibility because our administrative center is at Pakkaramulla, so there should be many options, many choices for the passengers to go there. So the elevated expressway also support for this area. So those are the major projects. And in addition, because there are more opportunities for the civil engineers, especially in the railway sector, in time to come, because there will be Colombo Suburban Railway project will go on for the next 10 years at least, because there are so many components in the project, because we are going to start some major project activities by next year, 2020. So that project will go into implementation till 2030, and also this light rail project. So there will be a lot of employment opportunities for engineers, especially under the railway project as well as the light rail project. So in addition, there will be a lot of other development happening around Colombo. You know that reclamation work of this new port city is now completed. So they will be now advertising for the property development there. So there will be a lot of opportunities in the property development. In addition, we are planning transit-oriented development along this new Kalmivali line to create more lands for urban development there, because Colombo is highly congested. So we are going to new areas. So new townships will be developed along that corridor. So there will be a lot of property development projects going to happen along that railway line, because government alone cannot find money for this development. So there will be opportunity for the private sector to invest their money, especially transit-oriented development around the station. Even station development, we can give to the private sector, because railway can come to some agreement with the private sector, and there will be partnership projects. So we are only using the ground floor as a station, and rest of the floors can be developed into apartments or commercial complexes by the private sector. So this is actually, I just want to explain you the ongoing projects and the development happening in the transport sector. Although my lecture is titled, the presentation is titled as the road related, so I thought it is more appropriate to talk about the entire land transport, even though that my lecture is focusing on this B paper in your professional review. So it will be useful for you to select your, I think, future employment opportunities, or for the sake of the general knowledge, because as engineers actually you must know what is happening around you. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. So if you have any questions, so if you need some clarification, so I am there to assist you. Also, you can get the copy of my presentation actually from the ISL. The first copy is here.